Hi everyone. So in this video I've got some exciting stuff for you. I'm going to show you how to place the eyes super easy, super fast, and always correct. So here we go. So I've got a grid laid out here for you, a 3-area grid with the the other 10% up here. And if you've been following my videos on how to make faces using the grid, you know that here is the eyebrow line. Here's the bottom of the nose. If you find halfway, then you know up above halfway is where the mouth is. And I'm going to show you that it's exactly, well, it's not exactly because people differ, but if you always place it at 1/3, it's always going to be correct. So from here to here I find 1/3, and that's where the opening of the mouth is going to be. And then we can just put in our flattened triangle or flattened diamond, I should say, for the mouth placeholder shape. Now let's get right to the eyes, because this is what I'm excited about and this is what I want to show you. If you find halfway from the center of the nose to the outside of the face, and you just place a line halfway, and you can measure if you want, or you can just eyeball it. So I'm just going to eyeball it. That looks to be about halfway. And I'll just draw a line down. Now, I've done all the measuring, I've done all the math, and I'm going to show you that later. But first I just want to build a face, and so you can have confidence that what I'm going to show you works, and then we'll look at the math behind it all. So we found halfway, and then what we can do is we can also find 1/3 of this square here, and I don't think that's about, maybe there, up a little bit here. Okay, so that will be the bottom of the eye. Okay, and so 1/3, I'm going to go here. That'll be the bottom lid of the eye. So we've got the center from here, from the middle of the nose to the outside of the face, and then we went 1/3 down from inside of this square if we divide it into thirds. Okay, so now we can place our eye. We know that the tear duct of the eye is going to be just inside this nostril. And you can decide how realistic you want to make your own eyes. Okay, and I'm just going to put in my standard slanted triangle placeholder. Okay, and we are going to put the iris of the eye. Actually, we're going to put the pupil of the eye right here, right halfway from the center of the nose to the outside of the face. That's really all you have to do, is put the pupil right there, and then you can build the eye around it. So that's actually the better way to go, because then you can construct your eye. So let's do that again. If we find halfway from the center of the nose to the outside of the face, and we just draw a line down, and then we divide this square into thirds like this, the bottom of the eye is going to sit right here. So if we just place the pupil of the eye right here, everything else will make sense. We know the tear duct starts just inside of the nose. We'll make our rectangle, slanted rectangle just inside the nose here. Make another slanted rectangle for the placeholder eye, and you can see the face is falling into place already. Okay, so halfway from the center of the nose to the outside, 1/3 of the way down, you could make the eyes bigger, deeper, more manga, more cartoony, whatever you want, but this will work for realistic proportions every single time. Now we can add the rest of the features on here. Add some cheekbones. Okay, we've placed the mouth 1/3 of the way from the bottom of the nose to the bottom of the chin. Or you can, if you just want to rough it out, you can find halfway and then just put the mouth above it where you see fit. Now for slanting in the jaw, there's a lot of ways you can do it because people have different face shapes. But if I want a really square jaw, I'll just come down to the mouth opening and then come in. Or from the bottom of the nose, I'll start slanting it in a little bit, like that. And you can just, you know, practice and decide what is good for you. And then from the mouth opening, that's when I will slant the jaw in a lot. Now, if I want a really cute character, I'll shorten the jaw, but just for the sake of this demonstration, I wanted 3 equal areas for the grid. And while I'm at it now, I'm going to erase the grid a little bit softly here. Okay, and so then we have, when we have our final drawing, the grid won't be so prevalent. Okay, so there we go. See, hopefully you can still see the grid, but everything's working out perfectly, everything falls in place. So I just love that idea of finding halfway from the nose to the outside of the face, put the pupil, and then you can construct your eyes around that. Now, you might be saying, well, you know, Jim, I want to have this character looking up or down or whatever. It doesn't matter, because once you have the center for the pupil, you can build the eye around it. Now where the eye opening is not going to change. And if you want to, let's say, have this character looking to their left, so the character's left, you can just start moving the iris over, because the edges of the eye aren't going to change, right? And don't forget, if you followed my eye tutorials, that the iris of the eye covers half of the eye white area, so it covers a lot. Okay, so anyway, let's continue on building this. We'll just do a simple 4-line ear. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, add on some thickness for the back of the skull, add on the top of the head. Okay, and there you go. And then we can just add in the neck. That shoulder's probably too high. Just lower it a bit. There we go. So we've got the face laid out perfect, and the eyes are laid out perfect. Now, the actual numbers show that the pupil, if you take from the center of the nose to, let's say, the center of the nose to the outside of the face here, the pupil actually falls anywhere from, at least for the measurements I've done, 42 to 48%. But it averages at 46% of the way. So if this is 50%, according to my stats, the eye falls just inside. But the females that I measured had 45%, 49%, and 48%, so almost 50%. So you can just, you know, if you want to make it the average of 46%, find halfway and then just put the pupil right here and build your eye around that. But for all intents and purposes, if you just find halfway from the middle of the nose to the outside of the face, draw a line, put the pupil there, build your eye around it, it's going to look perfect every time. And nobody will be able to call you out on it at all. Okay, so there we go. We can put in the nose bridge. We can put in some details for the eyebrows. We can put in the hairline. You know how to do all this because you've followed my videos. Okay, there we go. Put in the seagull. Maybe give the bottom of the mouth some more width like that. Okay, and we can round out the chin, whatever we want to do. Let's put in a hairdo, real simple. And I'm going to flatten this down. There's too much poof to it. like that. And we'll have a curl go out like that. And a curl like this. And we'll have another part come out and curl like this. And we'll have this here. And we've got the neck. There we go. So that's really all we need to design the hairdo here. You can do as much detail on the hair after as you want, but that's all I want to do here. Because what I really wanted to show you is how to place the eyes. Find halfway, drop a line, find 1/3, and place your eye. Okay, so there we go. So I'm going to do one more real quick from scratch, okay, and then we're going to get into the numbers. So let's just draw out a grid. And in this one, maybe what I'll do is I will shorten the chin area quite a bit. Okay, try to make somewhat squares and have the sides equal to each other. Doo-doo-doo. That's pretty good. Okay, so there we go. So we know we've made the chin area a little smaller, but that doesn't change anything. Let's just find those eyes first. Find halfway. Divide this into thirds. Okay. And then where those two lines meet, just above it, you're going to put the pupils in for the eyes, just like that. Then you can decide, my line is pretty wobbly here, so I'm going to erase that. And let's do a quick erase now of the grid. And here we go. I can put in my nose, placeholder M that I like to call it. I can divide this into thirds, or I can just find halfway and say, hey, the mouth is going to be about here. Put in my flattened diamond. Okay, it's looking kind of freaky right now. But once we have the nose in, we know that the tear duct of the eye is going to be just touching that. Okay, there we go. And there we go. Tear duct. Put in the eyebrows, and remember the eyebrows do go in pretty much as far or even a little more than the eye. That's for protection. Very well designed. Right? So there we go. And so this face is kind of wide the way I made it, which is kind of cool. And we'll put in the cheeks. But isn't that cool to put in the eyes like that? Just find halfway and then drop in the pupil, and then you can build the eye around that. So I love that. Okay, and I'm going to make the nose a bit wider like that. That looks better. Bridge of the nose. Okay, and then for the chin right here. See, it comes in a little bit from the cheekbone, and then somewhere between the opening of the mouth and wherever you see fit, you can really slant the chin in. But for a lot of people, it actually comes in right at the opening of the mouth right here. So I'm going to do that. There we go. It's a bit of a mess. But boom, 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 boom. That's all you have to do. Do a little seagull wings here. Do the philtrum for the mouth. Nice lip there. And we're done. Okay. Do the hair line. And then put some width on the back of the skull and the top of the skull. Okay. Do the ears One, start at the top of the eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4. Like that. Give her a neck. You know, you can go to town and do as much detail on those eyes. Once you have those placeholders in the right location, you know, you can do what you want. A little bit of shading. All right, and then let's give this girl a hairdo of some kind here. There we go. And like I say, you can detail things out as much as you want to. That's not the purpose of this video. The purpose of this video is just to show you how quickly you can do the eyes. And you know what? Just for fun, I'm going to do one more as absolutely fast as I can. So here we go. Okay, so that grid's a bit rough, but it's going to work. So we can put in our eyebrows. We find halfway from the middle of the nose to the outside edge. And on this one, remember that I said the average distance from here to here, the eyes fall within 46%. So instead of putting the eyes right at halfway, I'm going to move them inside a little bit. But first, let's cut this one into thirds. Like that. Now we know where the bottom of the eyes are. We're going to put the pupils just inside the halfway mark, like that. And then we can just do our placeholder shape for the eye. Now if you just do those beady little eyes, it'll kind of look weird. So as soon as you put the iris around it and, you know, not make that pupil such a little dot, then things will normalize. They'll look normal. Okay, so there's our eyebrows. Let's just do a triangle for a nose, like that. Find halfway, find above it, or you can cut this area into thirds too, and it ends up being, you know, well, I guess you can put the mouth wherever you want. So we will put in our flattened diamond for the mouth. Okay. But that was fun and easy to get those eyes in there like that. And for this guy, I'm going to give him a more square jaw down like this, and only really come in where the mouth opening is, like that. And then add some thickness on the side of the skull. Add the 1/3. Remember, we divide the squares into a third, and that's how much we add on top of the skull. There's the width of the back of the skull. I'll just do a 3-line here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Won't do much details. Give him a little cleft for the chin, the philtrum. Still do a version of the seagull. All right, and then we'll do a hairdo. So the hair comes in over the eyebrow, comes back out, goes up to the hairline. and comes in like that. There we go. Give them a thick neck like that. And then if this is the hairline, we'll put a part right here and just have the hair come up like that. And just a standard guy's cut like that. And maybe give them a little flip of hair like that. And let's give them our nose bridge here like that. And that's pretty much all we need. There you go. Okay, and placing the mouth. Okay, so we're going to get into a little bit of weeds here, a little bit of details, and we'll try and go as fast as we can to get through it. But I have 6 cool examples. Now, once you go through these numbers, you'll have a lot of confidence in drawing your faces because you know the numbers will always fall within realistic guidelines. And once you know what real is, well, then you can stylize your characters and turn them into anything you want, cartoons, anime, manga, whatever you need to. So let's look at our examples. Placing the eyes. What have I done? What I did was I found halfway from the middle of the nose. I found the middle of the nose, and then I measured out to the side of the face. So from the center of the nose to the side of the face was 67 millimeters, and from the center of the nose to the middle of the pupil was 28. So if you do the math, 28 divided by 67 is 41.79%, or almost 42%. So his eyes are 42% of the distance from here to the side of the face. Okay, 42%. Now, that's example 1. Now, example 2 here, this short-haired girl, from the middle of the nose to the side of the face is 35 millimeters. From the middle of the nose to the middle of the pupil is 16 millimeters. So 16 divided by 35 is 45.7%, or we could say about 46%. We'll stick with 45. So 45% of the way from here to here is where the center of the pupil is. Okay, 45%. So that's example number 2. Let's look at example number 3. Okay, here we go. From the center of the nose to the side of the face is 55 millimeters. From the center of the nose to the middle of the eye is 27 millimeters. 27 divided by 55 is 49%. So her eye is almost halfway, 50% between the nose and the side of her face. Almost 50%. 49%, okay? All right, so let's keep going. All right, so the next example is this smiley dude here, and this one was quite a bit different. From the center of the nose to the side of the face was about 44 millimeters. The center of the nose to the pupil was 20 millimeters. 20 divided by 44 is 45%. So his eyes are only 45% of the way from here to here, okay? And I'm keeping track of all those. First one was 42%, the girl was 45%. The second girl was 49%, and this smiley dude was 45%. Let's take our last example. Here we go. So here's our last example. From the middle of the nose to the side of the face was 50 millimeters. From the middle of the nose to the center of the pupil was 24 millimeters. Well, 24 divided by 50 is 48%. So again, her eyes are very close to 50% of the way from the center of the nose to the side of the face. Okay, so let's look at all of these measurements. I have 5 different people. They range between 42 and 48%. I only have 2 men here, and they're 42% and 45. And the 3 girls that I did were 45, 49, and 48%. So I don't know if I measured like 100 people, would I find that all women have a bit wider spacing on their eyes than men? That could be, but I haven't done enough to give you a for sure on that. Now, if you look at these numbers, we could just say, hey, 50% of the way from the middle of the nose to the outside of the face, that's where we're going to drop our eyeball. Or if we want to go with the average of 46% that I've done, we could just put the pupil of the eye right here. Your call, okay? And so that's the main thing that I wanted to show you, is this is such a super fast way to place the eyes. Okay, so I'm just going to talk a little bit while I draw this face. So you can see by just choosing a width of the face and then cutting it into quarters, you can place those pupils super quick and just shape your eyes around them as you see fit. Okay, so just like that, you've got the width of the face, you've got the eyes in the proper place, and of course you can move the eyes to the left or right if you feel like it, but by placing the pupils first, you know where the the whites of the eyes are going to be in the shape of the eyes, so everything is placed super quick. And then because you know the 3-area grid system, you can find the nose and the mouth and super quick without even drawing in the grid. And that's kind of why I love this whole way of drawing faces. And there we go. I've decided I want to start drawing things maybe with open mouths and a little bit of expression, because in most of my videos I've just avoided that for the sake of establishing how to draw the faces with grids and everything. And then I messed up that eye, but oh well. I'm going to actually fix it later on in this video. The other thing I noticed is if you just draw the pupils really dark, it looks a little weird. So things look a little better once you shape out the eye and soften it up a little bit and don't have that glaring hard pupil. Okay, so now we're going to get into the data of things, and I'm going to stop here. Good enough for rock and roll. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you before I conclude this video is the mouth opening placement. Okay, so let's look at the data for where the mouth opening is, okay? All right, here we go. Short-haired dude. So measuring from the top of the head to the chin was 200 millimeters. The mouth opening was at 45 millimeters. And you do the math there, and that's about 21% of the way, or 1/5 of the way up. But if you do from the eyebrows to the chin, then it's 36%, or 1/3 of the way from here to here. And that's how you can be confident of finding the mouth, is if you divide from here down to here into thirds, that's where the mouth opening will be. Okay, and then the last one was this example right here, this girl, and same difference. If you measure from the top of the head to the chin, which was what, 178 millimeters, the mouth opening's at 34. Do the math, it was at 19%, or about 1/5 of the entire height of the head. But if you go from the eyebrows down to the bottom of the chin, the mouth is still, of course, at 34 millimeters, which ends up being 34% of the distance from here to here. 34%, and then, so almost thirds. From the eyebrow to the mouth, to the bottom of the chin, the mouth falls at 1/3. So that's how you can be sure that these measurements are accurate. They will always work for you. And let's see what we can do. Eyebrow. Find the center. Find 1/3. Pupils. Placeholder eyes. Nose. Find halfway. There's the mouth. Or divide this into thirds and find the mouth opening. Flattened diamond placeholder. Cheekbones. Chin. Neck. Add some width on the skull. Add the top third for the top of the skull. 3-line ear. Hairline. And then you can go into your details for your character. There you go. Works every time. Okay, hope you enjoyed that.